apparently, George Stephanopoulos on the street. It looks like he's just come back from like jogging.
Yeah.
And maybe he doesn't know how phones work, or he didn't see the guy had a phone or something like that.
So the guy didn't have his phone, I think, pointed up when he asked the question, is my understanding. I guess we'll see.
He's filming him secretly.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's surreptitious.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, maybe a media professional and political professional might be aware of that, but I don't know.
Right.
Hey, excuse me. Hey, how you doing? Good. What do you think? Do you think Biden should step down? You talked to him more than anybody else have lately, and you can be honest. You don't think he can serve 4 more years? All right, that's an answer.
I mean, he didn't think he was being recorded. He's being. I'm not gonna crap on the guy. He's trying to be honest, but I know that in mainstream media circles, I mean, he's been forced to apologize, and oh God,
that's
how dare he
insane.
express
How does
his
that
opinion?
look to another country that America supposedly has a free press, and this guy's having to apologize for offering? I know news people have to be objective. He's being objective there.
He is. Yeah. Right.
That's true.
He's
not allowed to make an assessment as to whether it's night or day.
I mean, he's the guy that just talked to him. He just talked to him, and we're making fun of Clooney, but in that op-ed, he said that the same thing, that he'd seen him a few weeks ago, and that it was a market decline from when he'd seen him previously, and that it was the Biden we saw at the debate, not the Biden he knew before. So,
but let's play this Harold Ford Jr. thing, because it illustrates like what I think is wrong with the it's one thing for Stephanopoulos to be honest with a stranger on the street and just in passing say a comment. It's another for George Clooney to think like, okay, if the agenda is I'm going to get Joe Biden to step down, I know I'll tell everybody in the world that he's not mentally all there anymore. That'll work. I mean, that's a good point. Yeah. I mean, this is like, there's no strategy here. There's no tactics. There's no like who is he talking to? But here's Harold Ford Jr. almost proving my point, because Harold Ford Jr. is the worst.
Right now, what is it about? Your take on the fact that there are some Democrats who are saying he's got to go, but there are there are plenty of them are saying let's just hold.
Good to be back. I'd say a couple of things. First, I'm not concerned about 2020. My concern is going forward. I resent President Biden going on my friend Joe Scarborough's show this morning and calling, I assume, people like me elites. I would remind the president that in 2020, if you want to view me as an elite, I was an elite that supported you in 2020, that said that we should do everything we possibly could to advantage you against Bernie Sanders, because I thought Bernie Sanders' politics were detrimental to the party and to the country. But I wasn't being called an elite. I was an elected official. Some of these people on TV talking about this campaign were elected officials. We put our name on the ballot just like you have. You've been more successful, reached higher heights, but we put our name on the ballot. So I resent that a bit. But I get where you're coming from. If I were in your spot and I were running ahead in the polls, independents were supporting me, I didn't think I'd be a drag on Senate candidates in the toughest races in the country, which could flip the Senate to Republican and give Republicans an opportunity to either block or advance nominees to the appellate court, district court, and Supreme Court. I don't understand what you're saying, but the numbers don't favor what you're doing and what you're saying. So I'd dial that back a bit. If you're serious about going forward, then get on the road. Give me 3 events a day. Give me a long-form interview. Put Brett Baer as a part of that group you're going to give the long-form interview to. And demonstrate to the country that indeed what happened 11 days ago was a one-off. I'm still not convinced that was a one-off. And then to have the press secretary come into the press room and yell at the press like that, all they're asking for are the facts. And if the facts run counter to what they are suggesting or comport with what you are saying, fair enough. But all this nonsense about calling people elites and all this nonsense about not sharing all of the facts, particularly about your health, only damages your credibility, your great legacy, because you have a great one, and will drag down our chances of winning the House and holding on to the Senate. And for me, that's what's at stake in its election.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, You see what I mean, right?
Yes.
Like, this is why, I think George Clooney writing an op-ed is not necessarily the best strategy or tactics
I hear
to
you.
get Biden to step down, because Harold Ford, who has spent, I don't know, decades in financial services, after, we should say, voting to get rid of the Glass-Steagall Act, who came from an elite family in Tennessee. He's an elite. I'm sorry.
He said it. He said
he
it.
is an elite.
He's like, how could Biden be trafficking in such elitophobia here? Elitist phobia. I mean, really. And I liked that he admitted it, the Bernie thing at the beginning. Hey, buddy.
Right.
We helped you defeat Bernie Sanders because he was gonna mess with our pocketbooks. Now you're not
I was part of
listening?
the elite cabal that got in front of the populist candidate.
Totally.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.